This video brought to you by Exceptional Leadership. This is part 2 in a series of videos about Executive Director Linda Clark's notes on her tenure at the Toledo Society for the Blind. We continue in 1952. A very important transaction was made in January of this year by the Board of Trustees. The school place property was sold at a nice profit. The proceeds will be used in the purchase of a more suitable site. Sales of blind-made products increased and now included hand-loomed potholders made by the blind persons in their homes. There were 459 dozen sold in the first year. Sales included dish towels hemmed by the blind, ironing board covers, machines sewn by the blind in their homes. There was the real beginning of the sewing project sponsored by the Society. Items were sold at the Society and also by several blind persons accompanied by their guide dogs and going door to door. These sales were nearly $19,000 this year. 12 parents of preschool blind children met at the Society to discuss the plans for an educational facilities for blind children in Toledo. A women's auxiliary was formed to give volunteer services to the blind. This was a year that the Walbridge camp was sold by the YMCA and a new camp had to be found for the blind. Facilities were rented at Camp Yakita on Catawba Island from the Camp Fire Girls of Fremont. Although the grounds were larger, cabins further apart, and a bridge to be crossed, adjustments were easily made. The same general arrangements were made for recreation, which of course included supervised swimming, evening dancing, and refreshments. 1953. This was a year that marked a big change for the assembly type of work to be done by the blind at the Society, and many more orders were received. Toward the end of this year, 5 men from the AP Parts Company and 4 more from the Toledo Die and Manufacturing Company visited the blind workshop to discuss the packaging of small assembly parts manufactured for the AP Parts Company. Board members approved of the work and began to make plans for a new building when a more suitable location could be secured, as space was desperately needed. Many Lions Club members visited the workshop and were quite interested in the progress being made and the increased number of workers. There were constant requests by clubs and organizations for talks explaining the work of the Society. An interest was shown in all services available to the blind, and many talks were given. Blind persons frequently assisted in this publicity and gave interesting demonstrations of Braille reading and writing. This was a year of the sesquicentennial, held at Walbridge Park. The use of a large tent was donated for the display of blind-made products. Hand-woven rugs were very popular at this time, and the sales were profitable. The Toledo Women's Club also sold blind-made rugs at their building on Cherry Street. The Blind Bowlers, a young organization for Toledo, played host to the state tournament. The Women's Auxiliary served brunch at the Society for 95 of the Blind Bowlers visitors, some of which were guides.